Whether the grease fire on the stove looks like this on the left-hand side or the fire that engulfs the turkey fire, it is a fire and it could be happening to you. I'm joined right now by fire and life safety educator Dee Shelton from the Greensboro Fire Department. She's here to answer questions about fire safety, especially as we're approaching the holiday season. What we want you to do is text in your questions. The number is 336-379-5775. You're going to find that on your screen right now, and we'll keep it up at the bottom of your screen as we go through the next 15 minutes or so. We might be able to settle some family arguments here today. You never know, Dee. All right, first let's just start off with an overall picture of house fires in our area. And we're taking a close look at Greensboro, but this is kind of like how the nation looks as well. So let's take a look at that. So Dee, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at those numbers. 250 fires, 144 due to cooking. That was from this past year, correct?
Yes, that was from the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So that equated to 31.6% of our call volume, which is huge. When we looked at those numbers, all of the other reasons for fires kind of stayed in the 10 or less percent, but unattended cooking is always on top. The fires in the kitchen are our biggest problem.
Okay, and so we say we've had 97 fires since July. That's when your fiscal year starts, and about 30 of them have been house fires that are due to cooking. What is it? Are we all just bad cooks? What's the deal with the whole house fires and the cooking?
No, you're just leaving it. So, I mean, every once in a while you may have that frying incident, and we're hoping that people understand to put a lid on that and then turn off the burner. And that's pretty much all you need to do. If you're standing there with it, you can react quickly to put that lid on there and then turn off the burner. But when you leave the room, it's going to grow so quickly that you can't do anything about it. And now it's too late. And all you can do is get out and dial 911.
Okay, and I know a lot of people are out there saying, what do you mean people leave the room?
Well, I mean, we're distracted. Everyone has a cell phone, and you get home in the evening and you got to be in a rush. You got to cook dinner. Oh, but someone just texted me, or let's see what happened on Facebook today, or whatever we're doing. Some people enjoy video games, or somebody knocked at the door, or whatever. There's so many distractions now. Kids running around in the house, and you go, what are you doing? So there's just so many distractions. So the best thing to do is to try to cook when you're not distracted. When you are cooking, do not have the cell phone with you. Just cook. Just stay with it.
All right, what I want to do is be able to show the video of the grease fire. And so what happened was years ago, we were able to go with the fire department, and they started a grease fire, and then it did this. It flashed over into the entire room. And I know people say, okay, that's dramatic, but that actually is what happens.
It's dramatic, but it's truth. I mean, today, our environment, the way things are built, our furniture, our clothing, everything, our home furnishings, the way we make it now, it's just much more flammable, and things burn much more quickly than they ever did. And so it's reducing our time to react or to get out. And so it's best if we can stay with what we're cooking, and just really tonight, as we go through some things, heed these warnings that we give people.
All right, so the old school thing was you were just going to throw flour onto the grease fire, or you were going to throw something else on it. So what should you do instead, and why?
So when we add flour or we add salt, we're not continuing the cooking process. What you're doing is adding another combustible. Once that gets in there and it gets hot enough, it's just going to flash too, and now we've got more fire. So what you need to do is have the lid handy right near you when you are cooking. If it should flash, you put the lid on it to kill the oxygen going to the fire, and then you turn off the burner to kill the heat going to the fire. If we do those things, it will be much better. But also, when you're frying, you really don't need to put the burner on high. That's something that we tend to do. We're impatient, we want it now, and so we put the burner on high, and then we get distracted. Now in a little bit, that oil or grease is too hot, and we've got a fire. So if you just kind of put it at about medium and stand there with it, it will get to its frying temperature, and that's all you really need to do.
And really quickly, when it comes to the house fires and things of that nature, a lot of people say they're going to reach for their fire extinguisher. Where should the fire extinguisher be in your house?
We really like for your fire extinguisher to kind of be near an exit if possible. And the thought process with that, number one, if you're putting it right near your stove, are you really going to be willing to reach through possible flames to reach that? So you don't want it there. If you put it under the sink, well, we typically put things like cleaning chemicals and things like that under the sink as well. But we don't use the fire extinguisher every day. So it gets pushed to the back and all the cleaning stuff gets pushed to the front. And now if we've got a fire, you're down on your hands and knees trying to dig that out while the fire's growing behind you. So it's just really best to put that fire extinguisher near an exit or even a door that just goes out of your kitchen, depending on the layout. If you've got an attached garage, maybe it's just outside the garage door, or a back exit, wherever it would be really easy to get to. Everyone knows where it is, but it's not, in that area of the stove, because that's going to be the most likely area that you would have a fire in the kitchen.